What's the latest on Brandon Williams, Oli McBurnie and many more Hull City targets as Hull City look to strengthen their squad ahead of what could be a very promising campaign in the Championship? Hello there and welcome back to the HullCityFanCentral YouTube channel, where today I'll be going through all the latest transfer news, gossip, rumours surrounding Hull City as we progress on with the season starting just over a week away. With, of course, today being the signing of John Lundstrom. I made a video about that a little bit early on, about an hour after this is coming out. So make sure you go and check that out. I say about an hour ago it came out from when I'm putting this out. But of course, whenever you're watching it, so go and check that one out to hear about John Lundstrom. I probably won't be speaking too much about him in this one. So let's start off straight away with a Hull City free agent signing that they are trying to work on in David Akintola. It will be a free agent signing for the winger of David Akintola, who is reportedly trying to get a 2-year deal from Hull City. Would be a nice addition. Once again, another winger that Hull City are looking to target. This one's from a few days ago, so we'll wait and see how this one sort of has shapened out. Of course, with all free transfers, the deal has to go through the EFL until the embargo, transfer fee restriction and appeal process is all done with. So whether the wages is too high, whether the EFL don't grant it, well, we'll see on that one as time progresses. Of course, we do have a bit of an update on the EFL fee restrictions, embargoes and the appeal process in a little bit, so stay tuned for that one in this video. This week, well, Hull City were expected to sign John Lundstrom. That's happened. Akinfenwa, that's happened. Also, they signed Joel Ndala. But one more that was meant to be done this week is Enis Destan, of course, a teammate with John Lundstrom, or technically a former-ish teammate of John Lundstrom over at Trabzonspor, and that one was meant to be some realm of this week. Of course, this week is still going on. It could be a case that Enis Destan could sign later on today, tomorrow, or even Saturday before the pre-season friendly. I suspect that they'll be wanting to get this one done similarly to Joel Ndala, wanting to get it done before the pre-season friendly so that he can have a chance in playing against Getafe in the final pre-season friendly for Hull City at 4 o'clock on Saturday at the MKM Stadium. Some more moves away from Hull City might be happening, as Baz Cooper has said that they are trying to free up space and finance in their squad to bring the players in. EFL are watching their every move like a hawk, so it'll be interesting to see about that one. That links a bit to the Mason Burstow departure. Of course, Mason Burstow's departure was only a loan deal, but still frees up a bit of space. So, we'll give you a bit of an update on Steven Alzate. Now, I've been talking about this one a little bit this week, so if you've been watching the videos, you might know about this one. But Steven Alzate is finally finalising his move to Atlanta United. We've talked about this one for the past couple of weeks now. A £1.5 million move to Atlanta United. Well, it's now reported it's a £1.5 million move plus some add-ons. We'll see what the add-ons are. I'm not 100% sure if we ever know what the add-ons are, unless they're like, oh, you can have an extra twirl or something. We'll wait and see. But Steven Alzate, we expect an announcement on this one coming out shortly on his departure from the club, which then further cements the signing of John Lundstrom and possibly some more players that we'll talk about in this video to add into the midfield, because Alzate, he was a good player last season. Well, Sergei Kirevich has talked about Joe Shelvey, who of course failed his trial following the return back from Turkey. Here's what Kirevich had to say. Joe was on trial for 3 weeks, but we decided that in this time he could not help us too much. I think it's useless to have a player here just for the rotation. We need players for the first 11 in each position. Well, therefore, it's just stating the fact on Kirevich, he doesn't want filler players. He wants players who could be challenging week in, week out for the starting rotation, starting lineup, and he don't felt that Joe Shelvey was at that stage at the moment. Of course, fitness a massive doubt, and also there possibly is better quality in that position in the current setup. I know Matt Crooks has been playing a fantastic role in that deeper midfield. I mean, I could talk about the role that Matt Crooks has been playing in the past couple of games of pre-season until the cows come home. That's how pivotal Matt Crooks has been, and he's been showing some good form alongside it. Now, Hull City and Rizespor are inquired about Amri. I'm going to try and pronounce his surname. It's definitely going to be wrong. Hadziyametovic. Definitely butchered it. Very, very sorry. And his situation. There are also other teams from the Super League over in Turkey that are interested. And Mia is among the players who are wanting to leave the club. I believe he's over at Besiktas at the moment. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Another player that Hull City are in the realms to be looking at. But once again, another Turkish player. So, a bit of an update on the Enes Destan move, and he has apparently left Trabzonspor with 50% of his transfer fee will belong to Trabzonspor and then 50% to Hull City. The deal is finalised. So, this, I think what this means, of course, it's translated from Turkish and what on. It means that the sell-on fee of Destan would be that 50% would go to Trabzonspor and 50% to Hull City. Because I believe, I might be mistaken on this one, but I believe Destan might have terminated his deal at Trabzonspor. But I mean, we won't fully know the full crux of the Destan move until it's announced. And as I say, it won't be too long, obviously, before Destan is announced. Well, Hull City are also leading the race to sign, yes, another player. This one, a under-20 player in Luis Fernando Carrero, from the under-20s over in Colombia, I believe. He will meet Hull City's management soon to discuss the project and his potential role here. The club that he's currently at are aware of the talks, and other clubs are also keeping tabs on him. I know that Norwich City, of course, have been involved in some interest and some Premier League clubs as well. I mean, wherever we're looking to sign a player from, Norwich City won't be too far behind. So, Destan has applied for his visa with a bit of an update on this one. He will go for the signature, so we'll wait and see on that one there. Bit of an update on Brandon Williams. Now, we know that Brandon Williams, of course, was a part of the squad that faced off against Premier League side Sunderland, and of course, Hull City won that one. He was listed down as a trialist. He still is a trialist, but some positive stuff coming out through from Brandon Williams' Instagram account. It seems like he's very active over on the Instagram. A couple of story posts, 20 long, hard months working. It does pay off. Back in love, back with fire, back with determination. This is posting a photo of him playing on Tuesday night in the Hull City kit. Another one here. Just give me time to keep working back to 100%. Hashtag comebacks personal, with another one of him in the Hull City shirt with a song Back to Life, Back to Reality alongside that one. And another one, dear haters, I have so much more for you to be mad at. Just be patient. For the people who doubted me, and they put a thumbs up. So it seems like Brandon Williams is happy with the current sort of situation in his role at Hull City. Of course, it's a trial deal. We'll see if this one sort of gets cemented down. It's sounding like it is quite positive, though. As Sergei Yakievich has said, everybody deserves a second chance. Of course, the whole deal about Brandon Williams is, well, he was terminated his deal after a very dodgy sort of situation. He was doing some illegal substances, I believe, got into a bit of a car crash, served some time in prison, or he certainly was in trouble with the law, done some community service, and was really sort of outlawed from football. Had obviously a brilliant youth time over at Manchester United, was in the Championship for a little bit at Ipswich Town, and then of course the the law struck down on him, and now he's looking to make his redemption back to football with Hull City in what could be quite a good pivotal role for him. Left back, of course, as we know Brandon Williams is. He has been known, though, to play over at right back, and at the situation at the moment, Cody Drameh is the only real senior right back that is fit and ready to go. Of course, Louis Coyle is currently injured, and he'll be out for a little bit of time with that hamstring injury that he picked up over in Turkey. So I think that Brandon Williams would be a good addition to Hull City. Of course, it's down to Hull City and whether they deem it a good move at the situation. And of course, it would be down to the EFL's discretion. I know Brandon Williams was on quite a hefty payload when he was over at Manchester United as a youth player. Whether it is a case that he's looking to take a big wage cut to try and get back into football and to try and get back into football with Hull City, we'll wait and see that on that one. We would expect him to take a massive pay cut anyway, because I doubt that he would be on the contract that he was on at Manchester United before he was struck down with the legal situation, as that is just how things sort of rock and roll in football. But we will wait and see. This week is sort of the time frame that we will look on Brandon Williams, and it will be announced whether he has made it through the trial process and is a Hull City player, has signed the contract, or whether he's failed the trial process. Most likely after this weekend, heading into the first game of the season, against Coventry City away a week on Saturday. So not long until we find out about Brandon Williams's situation at Hull City, and hopefully he gets a bit of a better run out, a bit of a longer run out against Getafe on Saturday. A bit of an update on Matija Frigan. Well, he's reportedly won't be signing with Hull City. The EFL have slapped down on this one and said that the EFL will not allow it. Of course, we still remain hopeful through Ollie McBurnie, which we'll talk about in a second. And then a bit of an update on the embargo, fee restrictions and the appeal process. Well, a bit of a positive one in that the salary budget has been lifted on the club. So it seems like the back behind the scenes sort of situation, Hull City have put out a good statement to sort of say, well, we're keeping salaries quite down. We've got rid of some big spenders, and we are sort of setting out salaries. We're setting out wages that match what the club's current incomes are, which is a good thing. We know that the club has been previously outlined to be losing big amounts of money weekly on the wages of players. So that's quite a positive sort of situation, not only for the appeal process, but also for the day-to-day runnings of the club. Before we go into Ollie McBurnie, this is a bit of an interesting one. Crystal Palace are reportedly interested in Hull City right-back Cody Drameh. Of course, Drameh has had quite a good pre-season for Hull City so far. Bit of an interesting one there. See how Palace progress with this one. I doubt that Hull City will be looking to sell it. Maybe this is the reason why Brandon Williams would have a bit of a better run to try and sign with Hull City. We'll wait and see on this one on Cody Drameh. Of course, as I said earlier, Hull City taken some photos in their the new kit. With all of the players that are currently signed, and hopefully one player who will be wearing that kit very soon is Oli McBurnie, as Hull City have offered yet another long-term deal, a lucrative long-term deal to Oli McBurnie. Swansea have also made an offer to Oli McBurnie for a contract. The decision is close for Oli McBurnie to decide on which club to go to. So presumably now with the wage fee restrictions being lifted on Hull City, well, that means that we can not necessarily charge what we want or the wages what we want to Ollie McBurnie, but it can probably mean that we can be a bit more flexible, because that's the situation on why Ollie McBurnie did not sign earlier on in the transfer window, was because the EFL said no, the wages are too high. So hopefully that this is sort of a situation that's now looking at Ollie McBurnie going, right, I'm going between Hull City and Swansea, where do I want to go? I believe he's also played previously for Swansea, so maybe that has a bit more favour into them than us. It seems like both sides are pretty set on trying to get Ollie McBurnie. Of course, they're both offered deals, and they're both seeming like they're trying to get this done sooner rather than later. Of course, you do want Ollie McBurnie there to open up the season when we do travel away to Coventry City. So, I mean, that's a lot to rack through, and I mean, I'm getting this through right as as I'm recording this one, so this is fresh for me. Winger David Akintola is set to sign for Hull City once his visa application has been approved. I mean, we just talked about that a little bit earlier on, but that's coming out through Hull Live, presumably through Baz Cooper. A bit of a one about John Lundstrom. He's going to be wearing the number 5 shirt for City. So, that's it for this video. Make sure that you like and subscribe. As I say, there's breaking news around Hull City, especially on the transfer front, ongoing. So this is your place to be to keep up to date with everything Hull City as we progress through final pre-season game on Saturday, and then a week on from Saturday, well, we do kickstart this championship campaign, and this squad could be looking quite good. And I mean, if not, Jakirevich has done a fantastic job so far this pre-season, so hopefully it would be a fantastic season for Jakirevich and his black and amber Barmy Army. I'll see you in the next video. Up the Tigers!